Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. A New Hampshire father and son are partnering with a Houston, Texas venture fund to invest in early-stage New Hampshire and New England businesses, something that started with a New Hampshire smart dog collar company investment. The end result is an initiative called Launch New Hampshire. Launch New Hampshire, its goal, develop innovation ecosystem in New Hampshire. The strategy, provide early-stage startups funding, services, and guidance. The vehicle, our 3+ month accelerator program with final pitch to investors, and the funding, $5 million from New Hampshire investors via the Houston, Texas venture fund. That fund is Soft Venture Fund in Houston, part of a Soft global hardware and software services company, raising $40 million to $50 million to invest in 120 companies in the U.S. and beyond, including New Hampshire, over 3 years in exchange for 6% of the company. Now, New Hampshire real estate developers Michael Simchek and his son Jamie Simchek are behind this, and Jamie joins me in the studio to explain how they're investing in New Hampshire companies and how a dog collar company got you into this, a New Hampshire dog collar company. Talk about that, Jamie.
Thanks for having me. And what we did was we're a bunch of mutual investors in WAGS, a smart dog collar company.
Yep.
And as that progressed, we wanted to try to grow more startups in New Hampshire, and that's how we got together.
A dog collar company. I just find it interesting.
Yeah.
Having been an owner of a dog. Let's say I have an early stage company making a new kind of a grass seed that's resistant to changes in climate and can grow almost anywhere under any condition. How would Launch New Hampshire help my company? What's the process?
Yeah, so typically what we would do is we would point you to our partnership with Softtech. And what Softtech does is, as you said, Softtech has a software development company,
Yep.
but they also have a studio and a fund. And we would direct them to apply for the studio, and then the fund, which we're limited partners in, would help support them through that effort.
And that would take how long?
So the applications are rolling, and it's a couple times a year, but it's a 3-month accelerator.
So what kind of businesses are you looking to invest in, primarily?
Primarily tech-based, so scalable,
Okay.
investable companies.
And you get 6% of a company that you invest in eventually, right?
So the fund gets 6%. We have our small pro rata share as limited partners. But yeah, and that is what the company gives up essentially to participate in the accelerator.
How many companies are you investing in right now?
64.
64
since 2000.
How many in New Hampshire?
None at the moment. So we would like to be, and I think that's part of this effort. We wanted to bring an accelerator to New Hampshire. There currently aren't. I can't say there are none, but there aren't many, and we want to provide this opportunity to New Hampshire startups.
So how much? I mean, typically, depending on the situation, I know, but how much would you invest in my grass seed company?
So they get into the fund, or get into the studio, and then they get access to a $125,000 convertible note, and then as they progress through the accelerator, they might get more follow-on investment as well.
So you're looking to invest in New Hampshire companies. How are you going to do that? How are you going to find them?
That's what we're trying to do. When we're not the first people to do that, there are other people doing it, but we feel like the investor market and the founder market are very fragmented.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find them. We're trying to get them come out, find us, and so we can support them.
I mean, there's some other groups like New North Ventures, which you're famous, and they've been a guest here on this show, and the Small Business Development Center at UNH and so forth, a SCORE from SBA. They all are working with small, early-stage companies. I assume you're talking with them.
Of course, and where we draw a little bit of a distinction is we don't do a ton with brick and mortar. It's usually more on that tech side, but we think there are companies in New Hampshire. We just got to find them. And
there are some in New England. You're also looking around the New England states, right?
Yeah. So we did a pitch event in October, and I want to say a handful of those were from New England, and we're not invested in all of them, but a few of them are from New Hampshire and from UNH.
Jamie Simchek, co-founder of Launch New Hampshire, hopefully Launch New Hampshire if you find some of those companies, and investing in early stage New Hampshire companies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And if you missed part of this briefing, you can go to WMUR.com where it will be posted all this week.